Okay, today we're gonna be cleaning up the clan with the players that did not attack in this war. 172, we got Bander. There were some other players. Where are they? This one. Pikachu and Lizo. Yeah, these are the players that did not attack in the last war, guys. So there's no point of keeping these players in the clan if they're not even going to be doing their part by just simply attacking, guys. Know what I mean, though? Balloon, E-Drag. It's going to be lots of people getting kicked, I believe. I mean, there we go. Yeah. I think a few more kicks and then we'd be good. Patrick. Yeah, Patrick, you gotta go. You gotta go. And one more. You gotta go too. Okay, so we've cleaned up about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 players, guys. I kicked out because they did not attack in war, and we still ended up winning. How crazy is that, guys? Let's start another war. Probably going to sit one player out. Or we can kick one player out who did not attack properly. That's also another option that we have. By attacking properly, I mean people that did not use clan castle troops, maybe. I feel like this might be one of them. Yep, had a feeling. Did not have clan castle troops. So we don't need noobs like that in clan. I mean, neither should you guys. If you're running a clan, you should make sure that you're kicking out players like that, because they're only going to bring your clan down. You're not going to win wars. And it's just like, that's pretty annoying. So the best advice is keep cleaning up the clan. And it started a war, which is good.
Hi everyone and welcome to T20 Stars. I'm Shane Watson and today I'm going to be talking about my T20 bowling checklist, and it all starts with the grip. So for me, I was an outswing bowler, the brand new ball. I had quite an extreme angle of my seam to be able to then get my fingers behind the ball to get it to swing away. So my seam angle would be pointed to about gully, and then for my variation to be able to swing the ball in, again, it would be pretty extreme. My seam angle would be going towards fine leg, and again, getting my fingers to go down the back of the ball so the seam angle is going towards fine leg. And then my other variations, my off-speed balls. So the simplest technique that I used was, for both my leg cutter and my off cutter, was actually putting all of the energy on my middle finger. So I'd take all the weight and energy out of my index finger. I wouldn't stick it up because I don't want the batsman to know that I'm bowling my variation, my change of pace. But I'd keep it with hardly any weight on the ball at all. And then for my leg cutter, all I'd do is just all the weight on that middle finger and then cut down the inside of the ball and cut it down the side of the ball as fast as I could. My off cutter, I'd actually put my thumb slightly on the inside of the seam there to be able to just feel like I've got a bit more grip to be able to then again cut down on the inside, on the outside of the ball with all of my energy through that middle finger. And to be able to then just adjust the speed that the ball comes out of your hand, you stick it in a bit deeper into your hand, or it comes out a little bit more to your fingertips. So if you want it to be a bit slower, even come out slower, you'd hold the ball in deeper and again still go on those variations. The second aspect to my T20 bowling is feeling really tall. So at the top of my mark, as I'm about to run in, I'm trying to run as tall as I possibly can. One, so then I'm not overstriding, I'm not loading up my hamstrings and calves, which I had in the past. But the other thing is, if you're feeling tall in your run-up, then once you actually get to the crease, you're making the most out of your height that you've got to be able to try and get as much bounce as you possibly can. So in my mind, the top of my mark, I'm thinking about make sure that I'm feeling really tall in my run-up and at the crease. The third part to my T20 bowling checklist is my
There we go.
speed.
Let's attack.
And the run-up speed was really important for me to be able to understand if the ball was coming out a little bit fuller than I was wanting it to, a lot of the time it actually meant that I was running in too fast. I had too much momentum in my run-up and through the crease. That's why I actually didn't enjoy bowling down breeze and downhill, because I had to really, it's a real challenge to be able to try and get the right length of the ball going through the top of the stumps. The other aspect is if I was running in a little bit too slow, and then I'd get to the crease, I'd be pulling down a bit too hard, and that would just naturally drag the ball a little bit shorter than what I was hoping. So my run-up speed, if the ball's coming a bit full, run-up might be running in a bit too fast. I'm bowling the ball a little bit too short than what I'm hoping. Again, I might be running it a little bit too slow. So that's the importance of the run-up speed. The fourth component to my T20 bowling checklist is the angle of my run-up. So it sounds so simple, but for me, if I'm bowling a little bit wider than what I'm hoping for, then I'll actually, if I'm bowling
Okay. We're doing pretty good so far, guys.
My run-up a little bit wider, just to be able to, without changing anything else, still.
And that's a nice 3-star.
That's a fine shot. The swinging ball? What are the key principles to it?
Well, if you're an English opening batsman who's going to play at least half his games, test matches in England, how you play the moving ball, whether it swings or seams, will determine really how long a career you have. Because if you can't play the moving ball, you're not going to have a long career. So you've got to work out how to stay in and how to score. If you go back to first principles about how to stay in at the start of the innings, thinking back to a masterclass that A.B. de Villiers did with NASA when he talked about playing in a box, and he was talking about his feet actually. But I would say in England you want to think about your hands being in a box as well. So you want to be tight, controlled game with your hands in tight to your body. You don't want to be chasing the ball wide, or you don't want to be playing right out in front. You want to be very in a tightly controlled space. And if I had one kind of tagline, one little phrase that an opening batsman might keep in mind when he's playing the swinging ball in England, it will be see it early, but play it late. So you see the ball swinging, and some bowlers swing it later than others, but you're watching the ball, but you play it late, and sometimes play it with the swing as well. So see it early, play it late, stay nice and compact, don't go chasing the ball.
When you first came over here and the shiny Duke ball was coming down at you and swinging, what were the challenges for you? What are the challenges for people coming from the subcontinent to play the swinging ball? How big a contrast is it from what you've had before, what you're used to?
It is a huge contrast, because in the subcontinent you can catch up with the swing. It doesn't really hurt you to plant your foot a little bit earlier and then play away from your body with the hands, and you can catch up with it and score runs and still be solid in defense and not get out. Here, the swing, the late swing and the seam off the pitch in there, all of it enters your head. So to understand how you play a defense, where your scoring areas are, see it early, play it late. If you play it late, immediately your scoring areas become square. I was sold a dummy, I think, in England when I was asked to play as straight as possible. So Anderson bowling over the wicket, going across me, I keep playing straight, I'm playing always across the line. Another thing is, when you do plant your feet here, the first thing that you do when you get confused with swing and seam is that your feet don't move. You don't commit to a front foot, you don't commit to a back foot. You tend to even sometimes when you play back foot, just drag your front with your back foot. And then, like he said, Athers said about keeping your hands tight, I always thought about keeping my blade inside my back shoulder. The moment I do that and I hold my line, play the line, hold the line, the ball moves, I don't let it go out. And again, with tight hands, I always think in defense, where do you want your hands to be? In attack, where do you want your hands to be? Most importantly, when to play a vertical stroke and when to play a horizontal back face. Because sometimes you can't drive square with the swing too much or too square with a vertical bat. You need to switch to horizontal bat at the right point. So all these things work in your head and you try and come up with a method to counter that.
Fairness to India the other day, just reminds you of Jimmy Anderson's wickets. I mean, the perfect storm for him to bowl, wasn't it?
Great conditions and a great swing bowler. And of course, it's one thing to have the conditions, but another thing to exploit those conditions. And whenever Anderson gets the conditions in his favour, he more often than not exploits them. That was his 6th 5 here at Lords. He's 99 Test wickets here at Lords, more than anybody else. So no matter how good a player you are, I think even the best players actually, you've got the best players, and they would have struggled. Go back in history, Richards, Bradman, whoever. That is a struggle against a top-class champion bowler like that.
It'd be interesting to see how England's batsmen would have gone against Anderson.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
Curran and Woke.
And they wouldn't have found it easy at all. Because the game is clearly about scoring runs as well. I mean, I talked a minute ago about the first principles of staying in. But you've got to try and score runs as well. So what you are trying to do is make the bowler bowl in the areas you want him to bowl. So you've got to have really good judgment around off-stump. The game for an opening batsman in England against a top-class opening bowler occurs in that little box around the top of off-stump. The best bowlers will put the ball there most often. And the best opening batsmen, their judgment about what to defend, what to leave, what to play, what to attack, will be more precise than the less good players. And what you want to do when the ball is swinging like that is play tight for your off-stump. Encourage the bowlers to bowl straight. Pick them off if you can. And if they bowl you a rank ball, like something short and wide, still have the mentality that you are going to cash in.
We'll come back to what to do in just a moment. What not to do? I mean, Exhibit A would be Hardik Pandya, I guess, would it?
This is the classic example of what not to do. So when I'm talking about playing tight and controlled in a box around you, what Pandya is doing here is not seeing it early, playing it late. He's seeing it early, his eyes have opened because he's seeing a big half volley, and he's playing it early, he's gone at the ball, he's miles away from his body. Now, he may well connect with 1 or 2, but that's a high-risk game. Now, it might be fine for Hardik Pandya if the score is 50 for 5, and he's thinking, right, I'll counter-attack and change the nature of the game. But if you're an opening batsman at the top of the order, trying to get your team a solid foundation, that is a complete no-no to the nature of the game. Connect with 1 or 2, but that's a high-risk game. Now, it might be fine for Hardik Pandya if the score is 50 for 5, and he's thinking, right, I'll counter-act early. He's up about playing tight.
We'll come back to what to do in just a moment. What not to do? I mean, Exhibit A would be Hardik Pandya, I guess, would it?
This is the classic example of what not to do. So when I'm talking about playing tight and controlled in a box around you, what Pandya is doing here is not seeing it early, playing it late. He's seeing it early, his eyes have opened because he's seeing a big half volley, and he's playing it early, he's gone at the ball, he's miles away from his body. Now, he may well connect with 1 or 2, but that's a high-risk game. Now, it might be fine for Hardik Pandya if the score is 50 for 5, and he's thinking, right, I'll counter-attack and change the nature of the game. But if you're an opening batsman at the top of the order, trying to get your team a solid foundation, that is a complete no-no, and more often than not, that will cost you your wicket.
Well, that's an attacking shot. What about a defensive shot? We're going to show Pujara looking off to Liam Plunkett, actually, where he's just pushed his hands at it, and Kohli holding the line. We've split that up. There the hands go there, and eventually Kohli will get beaten by Jimmy Anderson, but he won't go outside of the box that you're talking about.
Well, that's exactly what Kumar is talking about not fencing at the ball. To say than do, actually, because a batsman's natural instinct clearly is to hit the ball. Nobody goes into the crease, or shouldn't go into the crease, thinking I'm going to not score, I'm going to not hit the ball, I'm going to leave the ball. So your natural instinct is to hit the ball, and you'll find lots of players see the ball move off the pitch or in the air and will follow it. And again, that's really risky. But what Kohli is doing here, what he's kind of conditioned himself to do, mental strength and practice and all those things, is just keep it tight, and when the ball has moved, he's not followed it and gone after it.
And also when you're batting, timing is everything, not just when you hit the ball, but everything that happens before it. So the ball when he bowls the line, especially Jimmy with that angle in and late swing away, it tricks your body into doing things a little too early. So especially when your back hip comes in and you turn into an S and it happens too quickly, that's when you have a little bit more time and then you fence with your hands. Kohli, his back hip does come through, but it comes through at the right moment and actually allows him to hold the line and have the swing miss the edge of the bat.
Down to the crease, gentlemen, because I want to talk to... Come on, Ethan. We've seen Kohli stand out of his crease and come at the ball. Johnny Bairstow was talking to me earlier, and he's standing out of his crease and coming at the ball. Did you do that?
Not so much, but I mean, it's a perfectly reasonable ploy to do. We saw Kohli, normally he might stand with his foot either side of the popping crease. He's about there to Jimmy Anderson, so he's a good 6 inches outside of the popping crease. He's looking to come at the ball, but what he's not doing, he's looking to get at the ball, but he's not coming hard at the ball. So that's a kind of critical.
That's a nice attack right there, guys. Lots of loop. Let's go ahead and request.
If you're facing Jimmy Anderson, and let's say he starts over the wicket, so he's coming back into you, what guard are you taking and where's your position on the crease?
Well, I'm going to take middle leg, and I'm going to keep my toe on middle, my back toe on middle and leg, and give my shoulder and my head enough space so that I sight the ball early. Now, I was asked once to cover off stump or bat on middle and encourage him to try and hit my pad, but what I found then was that I lost the concept of where my off stump was, and I was playing balls that I really, if I saw the line early and had room to see it, I would leave it. So I actually, middle and leg, you'll see my stumps, but he's always trying to take it away and get my foot across and try and hit me on the pad, get me nicking off generally. So if I see the line early, it's much easier for me to leave, and I make an informed decision, a quick decision, and I let it go rather than play it.
Okay, Ishant Sharma's now bowling at you, but he's round the wicket. Jimmy Anderson does this. What do you do there?
I would go take middle stump guard, but actually have my toe maybe just slightly over, so maybe a little bit like middle and off. But my front foot still a little bit open, so that I still see the line of the ball. I'm not going to hedge my bets and try and cover both sides. I'm going to trust my reflexes to get my back to the ball if he bowls it too straight. But what I don't want to do is to be turned into this S, and it happens quite often, and you're lucky when you don't get out. But keep fending at the ball and have my body in the wrong position and then fending at it with the hands.
Okay, guys.